any signs of aggressive behavior and is perhaps unable to communicate well, they may well be suffering from autism. Now, the autism community is standing together in solidarity once more on this World Autism Awareness Day today to educate people, of course, about this condition. Now, joining us in studio is Akil Seema, supervisor and manager at the Star Academy, one of the leading experts of this disorder, and Olwethu Dukuza, a parent whose child was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Akil, I'm going to start with you. How prevalent is autism in South African children?
We don't have accurate statistics at this point in time, mostly because we have such a big rural population in South Africa. So to gather that statistics would be fairly difficult. But at the last count, and this is informal, we had it at about 1 in 90 children. And again, this is not something that you can kind of stand by per se. But in the United States, which is where we would get more accurate statistics from, the prevalence rates have actually gone to 1 in 67 kids that are being diagnosed with autism at this point in time.
Now, you have an outreach program in Tembisa, and it's all part of raising awareness. Tell us more about the program and how it started, and how has the community responded to that?
So, as you correctly said, the first step was to raise awareness in our informal community. But to be fair, I think the awareness was there already prior to us going, and I was actually very impressed by the fact that so many parents were proactive, and that's actually what led to the Star Academy going out to Tembisa. The Tembisa clinic staff contacted the Star Academy and were interested in being able to actually send parents to a place where they could get effective interventions for their kids. So we initially started out on a very small scale, and we were able to recruit some very enthusiastic and motivated young people from the community that were willing and keen to make a difference in the lives of these very special kids. And we trained them up and gave them the exact same training that we would for any other instructor, and they're now actually actively providing ABA services to parents like Olwethu, whose kids are in dire need of those services but aren't necessarily always able to access them as easily.
Well, let me come to you. You have a 3-year-old son, Siyabonga, who lives with the condition of autism. What did you first notice in him that didn't quite sit right with you before he was officially diagnosed?
He was slowly at everything. Like he didn't speak. He take time to sit and do everything like a normal child. So when I take him to normal creche, they were surprised that he was 3 and he wasn't speaking at all. So they asked me to go to the clinic and check if there's something wrong. And then in the clinic, they transferred me to hospital. And then they diagnosed him that maybe he's autism, because they were not sure at the time. So as the time go on, they say that maybe he has autism.
And how has your family sort of adjusted to his condition? I mean, prior to him being diagnosed, I imagine it must have been a bit strenuous in a way, because you weren't sure what you were dealing with. And now after he was diagnosed, what is the change that you've seen in him?
Well, it was hard, because they thought he was just a normal child. They only think that he was just slowly. As the time goes on, he was going to speak and be a normal child, but it didn't happen. So they helped me and pushed me to go to the hospital, to the different hospital actually, because I wanted a second opinion, whether there was something wrong or maybe he was fine, just it was but a slow child. But it was autism. They confirmed it.
And how has being a part of this outreach program assisted you and your family to not only adjust, but to also help Siyabonga grow better?
They did help me a lot, because now he is getting like a normal, because now he was a baby, like he was 3 years, but he was like a little baby, because he was all diapers on something. Now they helped me to put him on potty. That was difficult too at home, because I was doing it alone, and he was not coping at all. So they helped me to get him to adjust, like behaving like growing up a little. Yeah.
Okay, let me come back to you. Now tell us more about the picture exchange communication system that you use in this program.
So the picture exchange communication system is part of a broader sort of category which we call iconic communication. So it typically in the way we use it in ABA, is meant to either serve as a replacement for kids who have absolutely no vocal communication, so that means they can't speak at all, or have limited vocal communication, or that are able to speak vocally but don't have as wide a variety or wider vocabulary as a typical child may have, and the iconic communication assists with developing that. In the case where kids are completely non-vocal, it actually gives them a functional way to communicate, whereas in the past they would have absolutely nothing. And typically kids who aren't able to communicate vocally or otherwise have a lot of challenging behavior. That's where you see the tantrums, the aggression, because they don't have any other way of making their needs or wants and communicating those to other people. They don't have that.
Very quickly, Akil, what would you say to encourage parents who may be spotting some signs in their children? They're not sure whether it's autism or not, how to deal with all of it. What would you say to encourage them?
Well, I think the first thing is that you need to go as early as possible to someone who can provide a diagnosis and someone that would be able to direct you to an effective treatment program like ABA, which is evidence-based. And secondly is that it's not in any way a death sentence. It's not something that your child has to live with for the rest of their lives. Autism is treatable. Autism is recoverable in many instances. So there's always hope.
Right, well, that is Akil Seema and Olwethu Dukuza chatting to us about autism on this World Autism Day. Remember that if you need any kind of information is always available from the internet to local doctors and clinics. If you're spotting any signs whatsoever in your child that you think may be autism, as Akil said, you need to take it up quite early and try and find out exactly what it is that is going on with your child. It could be autism, and you could help them adjust and, just better cope with the condition of autism at an early age. Now, photography and